crowds on the streets in the nightlife centers, and this is an issue of concern that I wanted to raise with the Permanent Secretary and the Minister of Health, and whether they are also concerned as I was. Dr. Dana Twine, thank you so much for granting us this opportunity to have you this early morning on the issues of the fighting COVID-19, but also on the full reopening of the economy.
Good evening, viewers, and good evening. Good morning, sorry. Thank you so much for coming. And the issue of reopening, definitely, you know, anyone who has not had freedom and all of a sudden you give freedom, that is expected. That's the nature of human beings. And so we saw a lot of excitement. It is true that, of course, Minister of Health is continuing to do what we are supposed to do. But you see, we cannot monitor everyone to make sure that they observe what we have put in place. The concern is that with increased, maybe it can hold. The concern is that once people come out and they are excited and they are not observing the SOPs, we are definitely likely to have more numbers increase, definitely. But yet, at the same time, we have to move on. COVID is here to stay. Maybe eventually it will be like any other flu illness. Over time, once we, through mutations, we shall get a variant that probably less dangerous, and we live with it. But also, once we increase the vaccination, I think COVID, the underlying message really today is that we need to learn to live with COVID. So we are not going to completely, come back and close, no.
Doctor, part of the lesson should be people keeping the distance, social distance, people keep putting on the mask. Exactly. Could be the lessons. But what we see today in the night, during the night, is totally the opposite.
It is true, people are not observing the SOPs. And now we have come to a time where people are going to take personal responsibility. We are not going to be running after people. No. If you choose to go to the bar and you remove your mask and you don't observe and you get COVID and it gets you down, that is their personal responsibility. Because we have really talked, we have educated people what needs to be done, the SOPs, the importance of putting on masks, because research has shown that really these masks help. The social distancing, washing your hands, all those things we have been talking about for the last 2 years. So now the ball is in their court. If they really don't observe those measures, then the people will fall sick. Of course, at the end of the day, we are always we are always the punch bag. Whatever happened, even the opening of the bars. I was telling someone that even opening the bars, still we are going to suffer, because people will come with assaults. They have fought, they have broken their limbs, the accidents, they are in alcoholic coma. So we always get to these things. Still, the backlash always comes back to us. But what I want to really to remind Ugandans is that right now, where the stage we are at, we have opened up. We are saying, take personal responsibilities. Those of you who have nightclubs, and take extra precautions, because you want actually your customers to be alive. So make sure that you remind them. But you see, the nature of some of these places is very difficult. You imagine someone drunk, how will he really observe SOPs? It's very difficult. But now at the end of the day, it is their personal responsibility, because for us, we have done what we can.
As you do what you can and your best, we know that part of the presidential directive, 24th January was the full reopening. The event organizers are also up in high gear. But then there are some voices coming up saying that now, for you who are organizing big concerts and big events, you should hold on. Is that a Minister of Health directive? Is this an official communication from the government?
We have not issued that directive and from the Ministry of Health because once we agreed that we open up, we open up. But what is the most important thing is that people need to learn to put in place mechanisms that safeguard their lives. Much as they are going to enjoy, much as they're excited, they must know that the danger is still with us. We have been talking about these SOPs. Even the big events organizers know the SOPs. That we are not going to issue fresh SOPs because they know. They're just 4 principles. Cover your mouth and nose so that you don't, if you are sick or someone else is talking to you next, you don't get information. Whatever you touch, if you touch somewhere and someone is sick, you pick, so sanitize. If you give yourself space from the other person, the airdrops will not get to you. So those are principles. We are not going to reinvent the wheel.
So they are free to organize?
Whether they are free to organize or whether they are holding, for us in the Ministry of Health, we have not issued that hold in the Ministry of Health. So I don't know where what is you are referring to, where it came from. But what we want to tell the people is that the disease is still with us. Whether you're organizing a wedding, whether you're organizing a concert, whether you are in the football match or whatever, and you have in the stadium, you must observe those principles. That's it.
Doctor, when you emphasize that, observing these principles, the border industry, they are employing so many young people, and they are saying that, yes, we are also ready to observe the same procedures. But why are you still keeping us on a lockdown? They want, because you open the nightlife, they transport these people who go to these nightclubs. They also want to have this freedom to make some money.
I think that one has, it has 2 areas that need to be looked at. The first one is the security angle. Remember that once curfew was removed and you know those crimes that people were always tagging to borders at night, I think the security, that it has a certain security angle. But also, there is indiscipline. So much indiscipline among borders, they are not observing. Today I was coming and I kept on, I was just looking at the borders passing me. No one. They are carrying 2 people. Nobody has masks. So if they cannot even observe during the day, what will happen at night? So I think first they need to demonstrate that they are strict and observing what we have agreed with them. Once that is done, I believe that those issues will be reviewed. But I think also, I think the head of state concerned, partly, or one of it it has to do with security issues.
You know, the borders, why I insist on them, because they think the ball stops from your side. They think that once you advise the president, once you advise the means of transport, they will agree and say that, yes, this is what they should do. If you put up those measures as Minister of Health, they will listen to you. That's what they believe.
No, you see, Ministry of Health does not work alone. We work as a team, as an entire task force. And in this case, actually, Ministry of Transport has a big, because this is their sector. And they know the sector better than even us, because really what we are talking about it is beyond COVID. If they are moving at night and they are related to crimes or what, other sectors will come in and say, no, on this angle, let's first wait. On this one, no, let's wait. So it is not really Ministry of Health that no. It is a collective decision.
All right. This is the third week since the schools resumed. I know Minister of Health, Minister of Education and Sports, you've been doing some monitoring, supervision, and also looking at the way these people, the schools, the students, and the administrators are putting into place the measures. But reports we are getting that there are those students who have already shown symptoms, over 5,000 of them. This is also not good news as for the fight against COVID-19.
Stephen, it is expected once we open schools and the infection is still around, people will be going home, bringing infection to schools and taking it back to homes. And this one does not surprise us. That's why the president was very, very, very clear from the beginning that we shall not open schools until we know that a big percentage of our people are vaccinated. We knew that once we opened the school, the infection will spread. So the most important thing here we are talking about is vaccination, to make sure that all the people that are vulnerable are protected. Whether the child takes infection at home to the grandmother, grandmother, once they are vaccinated, that's it. The teachers, once they are vaccinated, that's it. Now, the good thing is that this variant that is now circulating, although we still have a few remnants of Delta around, but the big number of the cases now we are getting are Omicron. Omicron is not as dangerous as Delta. It has changed its form, but it is more, it limits itself around the upper respiratory tract system. So we don't get many people who come with very severe disease. But still, I want to tell you, our hospitals, we still have many people who are sick, very sick. And we are still losing. The number who are dying, I think, per day on average, ranges from 6 to 10 per day. So, and who are those? We are also getting some few children who are dying. Why? Because they are vulnerable. Some of the children who have conditions, underlying conditions, once they get this COVID, they get severe.
Okay.
So what we want to see now, as we have opened the schools, the cases are there. There are many. They will increase. They may increase more. But what we see is that we don't anticipate to get severe disease among children.
Right.
But a few who will have to go through that. The parents must ensure that if they have children who have some condition, they should ensure that those children are vaccinated.
Thank you so much, Doctor. 30 seconds, your tribute to the late Professor Emmanuel Tumusiime, because you're a friend to the Banyachigezi.
Yes, we just want to bring condolences on behalf of Ministry of Health for the great loss of our icon, Dr. or Professor Emmanuel Mutebire. We know that it's a big loss, not only to the family, but also to the nation. But we want to be comforted as Banyachigezi that the one who made Emmanuel Mutebire is still alive. He will bring many more Mutebides.
Thank you so much, Dr. Diana Twine, the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Health. And this is Morning at 10 TV. Stephen Imbide, Fefeswe Chibuga, now handing you back to Idris Matusegawa. Of course, we shall be updating you on much more information that is coming from Minister of Health on their efforts to fight COVID-19.
Thank you, Stephen Mbide, for that report. And right about now, we are going to cross over to Ivan Walunyolo, who is in Entebbe, talking about the wrangles that